This year marks the 60th anniversary of the iconic little Mini, and to celebrate, like so many other manufacturers like to do, they've given us a very special anniversary edition. And they've chosen a 3-door Mini Cooper S to do so, which is probably the purest form of modern Mini you can buy. In that same vein, they've finished it in this iconic racing green. Other features of this special edition include some black detailing like the contrasting roof, racing stripes, 17-inch alloy wheels and some bespoke birthday badging. But this isn't the only birthday Mini we'll be looking at today. We've also brought along this 30-year-old 30th anniversary model to see how far this little car has come in the last 3 decades. Needless to say, a lot has changed in that time, with the Mini marque now part of the BMW Group, who bought the rights to the name in the 90s and have been keeping the legend alive ever since. One of the first major things you'll notice, and it is quite stark when you put them side by side like this, is the size difference, with the modern Mini looking more like a biggie these days. And luckily enough, the interior isn't quite as cramped as it used to be. The boot, for example, used to be just about big enough to fit the weekly shop, back when people were less wasteful and plastic bags were free. You also had to share some of your boot space with the fuel tank, and it opened upside down. Things are slightly more generous these days with a 211 litre boot capacity, which still isn't huge, but look, this isn't a large car and the clue is in the name. And one thing that you can do now that you couldn't do back then is drop these back seats if you ever need to carry anything bigger, which is always useful, as is this handy hidden floor, tether points and charging socket. Now, one other thing that we didn't have back in 1980s Ireland were these Union Jack taillights, and some would argue we still don't need today. But moving swiftly on, people must have been a lot smaller 30 years ago, because there's really not a whole lot of room to stir in the back of a vintage Mini. And 30 years later, to be honest, there still really isn't all that much space back here, but things are a little bit more comfortable for backseat passengers, at least with squishier seats and things like coat hooks and cup holders. The cabin of the 60th anniversary Mini really is something special. Now, I know brown leather with green stitching doesn't sound all that appealing, but it really works here. And as we'll see in a few minutes, also pays tribute to Minis of old, alongside a few more special edition 60 badges. Other fancy features you'll find in the 60th anniversary Mini include this cool round jukebox style infotainment system, complete with an advanced satellite navigation system, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, a reversing camera and ambient mood lighting. It also comes with dual zone climate control, heated seats and wireless phone charging. In the front of the 30-year-old Mini, you'll find such fancy features as a steering wheel, windy down windows, a top-of-the-range JVC sound system with a tape deck, and, as was vital in the 80s, an ashtray. This Cooper S is powered by a 2-litre turbocharged 4-cylinder petrol engine, pushing out 192 brake horsepower, which is no mean feat for a 60-year-old. And needless to say, like most modern Minis, it is incredibly good fun to drive, with a brilliantly playful go-kart-like feel and a seamless power uptake from the 7-speed automatic gearbox. You have to work a little bit harder in the vintage Mini with its 1-litre naturally aspirated 4-cylinder petrol engine and all of about 40 brake horsepower. The steering is really nicely weighted with plenty of feel, which makes for great fun around cornering. The steering in the vintage Mini is really good for a thorough upper body workout. The suspension is really finely tuned so that it stays nice and planted, yet still manages to take the jolt out of any lumps and bumps in the road. Suspension? What suspension? The brakes are super smooth, seamless and really, really responsive. No ABS is fun. It's come a long way in the last 30 years, and indeed the 30 years before that. And while both of these Minis will definitely put a smile on your face, I think I know which one I'd prefer as a daily driver. The 60th anniversary Mini is on sale now with a starting price of about €40,000, which probably would have bought you a house back in the day of the other Mini, but that's inflation for you. It's also part of a very limited run of just 500 models, and only about 10 of those are going to make it to Ireland. So if you want to own a piece of history, you'll have to move quite quickly. Which one of these minis would you prefer? Let us know what you think in the comment section below. Like and share if you enjoyed the video, and if you'd like to see more like it, please hit subscribe.